Hello, everybody. Hello to everybody in the chat. Welcome. I'm Natalie. This is Scientology Life After a Cult. I talk about the things that have the internet buzzing in regard to Scientology, and also talk about my 35 years in Scientology, growing up in Scientology, but more importantly, how I left with 3 generations of my family. Welcome, everybody. If you're joining on the replay, jump into the comments. Tell me where you're watching from. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. And if you like the video as it goes along, hit the like button as well. If you're jumping into the chat and joining, hit that like button because it helps to get notifications out. Thank you so much to my mods who are here today. I think Dip Me and Glitter's here, Nancy Allen, and my Tony. So, was that all my housekeeping? All right. First things first. First things first. Thank you, everybody. We hit our first goal, which was getting to 10,000 subscriptions. And we did it. That happened yesterday. So y'all know what that means. My Tony's going to join us for a live stream. I want to do one that's just dedicated to that with him. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it tomorrow, and we're going to do it at 12 p.m. Central Time. So I will get out a notification about that, but mark your calendars, make a note. You're all going to meet my Tony because he agreed when we got to 10,000 subscriptions, 10,000 subscribers, excuse me, that he would come on and do that. So that is happening tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Time. In the meantime, he is in the chat with the mods, working hard. So I appreciate that. And yes, our next goal is, of course, let's see. I don't know. You guys tell me. Should we? You know what? If I was talking to Tony about this, and he thinks we should do celebration in increments of 10,000. So maybe we do that again at 20,000 subscribers. We will again celebrate. Although let's be real, we celebrate every day because every day that you're not in a cult is a fabulous day. It's a great day to celebrate. So thank you. I honestly, truly appreciate all of you, and I know that we're going to do it. And we'll see what Tony has to say about that as well tomorrow. All right. Lots to talk about. My goodness, worlds are colliding. Universes are colliding on the interwebs. If you are a fan of Vanderpump Rules, which is a show on Bravo that's been around for a while, it's a spinoff of the Real Housewives of, I think, Beverly Hills. There was a cast member who had an interaction with the Squirrel Squad. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how the live streamers, protesters, Squirrel Squad is beating Scientology and their dirty tricks. There are so many false 911 calls, and there has been, that honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the LAPD wasn't using these calls to do drills at this point. I mean, if you think about it, if they're training in officers, might be a good way to do it since they show up and it's a big pile of nothing. Nothing is happening. May as well put it to some good. That was kind of my point. I was thinking about it like, what a waste of time. What a waste of taxpayers' dollars. But if they can use these to train their officers and maybe even better educate them on what the rights are of people who are on public sidewalks, maybe it could be a good thing. That's the optimist in me. All right. Let's kick it off. Let's see. Let's kick it off in Hollywood, where our sweet Mindy, y'all remember Mindy? In the beginning, a lot of people thought that she was a plant from Scientology, that she was there to stir up trouble. But then we quickly found out that she just is a bubbly, sweet person who wants to help. So I could not believe it when she had an interaction and the police were involved. We're going to jump over to that. So, and good morning again, everybody who's joining and just jumping in. We're covering a bunch of stuff. We're celebrating our 10,000 subscribers and then jumping right over to getting 20, which I know that we can do. All right. So it was Friday night in Hollywood, and a lot of what happened is what you would expect on a Friday night in Hollywood. There are links below to all of the videos that I am going to talk about. And I encourage you, if you have not already, to get over there and subscribe to those channels as well. Oh, there's a lot that I'm excited about to get to. But let's jump over here to Hollywood. This is outside the Celebrity Center.
I don't know the context.
And what we're looking at, let me set this up a little bit. Mindy, our sweet Mindy, was attacked by a woman who, she was out there doing her thing. And then this woman lunged at her and I do believe hit her camera out of her hand. And police were called. And I think Mindy wasn't sure for a minute what was going to happen, especially after what happened to Aaron from growing up in Scientology when he was in Hollywood and was assaulted by a man and a dog, Patrick Perry. And Aaron himself ended up being arrested, detained, and kept for hours. We saw how that played out. So I was watching this too, thinking, oh my gosh, are they going to take Mindy away? What's going to happen? I hope that doesn't happen. But so that's what was happening. And this is on the scene there. So let's take a look at this. And I do believe this is on Confident Chris on his channel, on his stream.
We got 12 on 12 on 12. No more light. No more light. That's pretty good. Oh, they're blocking traffic now. Damn. You're loading that sucker up. Uh-oh. Where is this? Damn, they breaking in. This is damn. Y'all hear that?
My mic was muted. So there was a call to the Copa, which is the building across the street from Celebrity Center. And then the altercation with Mindy happened. So I think I need to move forward a little bit. So give me a sec. So this is after it happened and the police are separating the two. That is the one right there with Mindy.
Yeah, you know the lady that hit the skateboard guy? Yeah. I just got told that's her. It's the same one. Yep.
This is the woman who's being said.
I want you, Solomon, stay over here.
Already out of it, guys. So. Yeah, there's so many cop cars out here. We got a whole car meet. So I should just fight somebody right now if they're gonna do shit.
It's the same lady. It's the same lady that hit skateboard guy on Hollywood Boulevard.
I love how you can hear the helicopters in the back.
Lady legit jumped and swung on her, is what my chat's saying. My entire chat was telling me to go check on Mindy, but they didn't tell me where she was.
No? Wait, where did she go?
Talking to her.
Well, you let the public through already. You let the public through. If you let the public through, we could go through too.
If you let her go through,
if you let her go through, we could also go through.
You guys cannot come.
Hey, you moved the public already. You moved the public
Don't touch
already.
it. Don't assault me. Don't assault me, lady. Officer, do not.
Can I have your number first?
Yeah, she just said you put.
So the woman does end up getting put in the back of a police car, and I don't know what happened to that, what became of that with her. So if somebody knows, let us know in the chat or in the comments, because I'm sure that we will find out. I felt for Mindy. Let's see. I got another clip, a video with Mindy on it. Excuse the fast forwarding here. I have it on another clip, but let's see if it's on here as well. And this is the guy that people are saying owns.
If your wife did something wrong, just say it. Just say it. Just say it.
I have to show videos.
Your wife did something wrong. Just say it. Just say it.
So
Did your wife do something wrong? Yes or no? Just say it.
There was a lot. There was a lot going on over there at Celebrity Center. All right, we're going to go to, I do have another clip. It was almost like, it's like, if you've been following the protests out there and gotten to know the different people, the different characters, Mindy is just, every time I see her, she's just so sweet. And she handled it really well, but I don't doubt that she was really scared as well. So my heart went out to her there. But I thought that was interesting that was happening. Again, so many false 911 calls. That one, they were there for another call for something, but it's just blowing my mind. And like I said earlier, I hope they use them for drills because some good has to come out of that. Now we're going to go over to Jessica PALMADESSA's stream. William Gude, Scientology Audit Streets LA, was served with papers for a hearing to get a temporary restraining order from Joey, who's someone earlier he had some beef with. And apparently it was already denied once. Joey is representing himself. And it seems it's funny because it looks like to me like William Gude is not fazed or bothered by this in the least. And this is, let's get on to Jessica's stream. Oh, that's not it. Hold on. This is so great. There's so much that I wish that we need more time. It's getting to where there's so many things that are happening and going on that we need more time. We need more time to even just go over all of it. All right. Let's check this out. I do believe this is it. Laughing at some of you guys' comments too in the chat. All right, getting organized here. Give me just a second. I got a little out of order. All right. And this is Jessica PALMADESSA's stream.
notice of court.
Where'd that come from?
Joey!
Oh,
my God. Self-represented. Listen to this.
Oh God.
Joey is filing a tombstone.
Wait, does he legally have to say you've been served?
Bro.
Yeah.
What the hell?
A restraining order. Oh, I'm going to.
Joey wants a
So now-
restraining order.
They just ran like they did this
He walks up to you. You don't follow him.
It says here.
You should have just ran like David
Temporary
Miscavige.
restraining order. Reasons for denial or other personal conduct statewide orders as requested in.
It's so funny.
So he's asking, he needs a hearing as to a relief that the court already denied him, and he wants a hearing anyway. This guy.
This is a clip of I've ever seen one.
I know.
You've been served. You got to understand something. So I have
Who's
been
that?
served with restraining orders
This
before.
is right here.
For one time, I had a guy. He had an old man arrested. He said the old man had an air blower and blew air on him, and he had him arrested for battery. So I told the guy, I'm going to humiliate you. And so I went and I got all his info, where his whole history. He worked at UCLA, all that. Not for long. And he got upset, so he went and took out a temporary restraining order. What's going to happen here is if you do a temporary restraining order, it's frivolous, right? There's a thing called an anti-slap motion. What he's doing is by trying to prevent me from being anywhere near him, he's trying to stop my First Amendment right to speak out against him.
Here we go.
So what's
with
going
the
to
music
happen
again.
here is my lawyer, who I'm going to call in about an hour, who's been through this before with me, she's going to file an anti-slap order against us for wasting our time with this frivolous stuff. The court already denied, and he's asking for it again. This guy right here, he's his butt. Like, what is Joey, in order to get a restraining order, has to show that there's fear for his safety.
Putting it on
I
your back.
cause fear for his safety. Telling Joey that his son reached out
It's
to
on
me
my back?
and said,
Oh,
"Don't."
okay.
Joey's son reached out to me
He asked me
and
to
said,
do
"Do
it.
not talk to my dad.
I was like,
He doesn't talk to me." And it's
Off the jail.
so because of that, he's trying to prevent my personal speech. So anyway, so let's see.
Yep. Yep. A whole bunch of nothing going to happen. One thing I really love about these protests and with William Gude is the way that he educates the Squirrel Squad, the protesters, the live streamers who show up about the system, about the judicial system, about what their rights are with protesting, about, you know, what their rights are with the police, those things. It is such a, I think that's so great. It's also what's so different from any other protests before against Scientology. And I think that just strengthens things to help them understand what their rights are. One thing that happened the other day too was on Jessica Palmadessa's stream, she shared something that was really like, what? How weird is that? So we're going to take a look at that. And she's talking about a phone call that she got and what showed up on the caller ID. So let's see. Let's see what happened.
I don't know where they don't want to. I don't know where they go from. I don't know how they just look bad.
Hold on. I have just got. Hold on. I want to make sure I have the right one here. Give me a second. Take a sip of your coffee. All right, I'm going to come back to that one because I don't know if my videos got out of order or I lost that one, but I will tell you the gist. She got a call. It was she or her mom got a call from a lawyer. But what shows up on the caller ID was Scientology, was the Church of Scientology, which is just strange because it sounds like it was a lawyer that they had interaction or they had reached out to. Okay, here. Nancy, I'm not 100% positive if I grab the right link here. So maybe somebody can check for me and we'll go back to it. But how weird is that? Can you imagine you're getting a call from this attorney, but why does Church of Scientology show up on your phone? It's just weird. I don't have an explanation for that. Now we're going to jump over to LA Cam. LA Cam, there's a link below. He's here on YouTube. He's also, I do believe he's on TikTok as well. And he's been pretty good as well as getting, conversation with Scientologists and having them share. And he met a Scientologist who was very open and sharing, of course, until he was whisked away by security.
What's going on, bro? I appreciate it, brother. Are you a Scientologist?
Yeah.
Yeah? You mind if I ask you a couple questions? I'm just doing a report on it.
Sure.
Yeah. How long have you been in Scientology for?
I've been here since like March of last year.
March of last year? How do you like it?
It was good.
It's good. Good information. So you've been happy with your time here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How much money have you spent on classes so far?
I spent maybe about $5,000.
$5,000. Wow. In just a year?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I just did my pure.
Right. Oh, okay.
That's $2,500.
Wow. Yeah.
Just found out the courses that I took because I was on staff for like a month. I saved some money that way, but
right.
I told them I couldn't do the staff. The staff won't work for me, so I'm fine with paying out of pocket.
Right.
To take the course.
I understand that. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just one last question before you go inside. Have you heard any of the status what's been going on with them lately, like the cult status, them trafficking kids and stuff like that?
No.
No. No. I would look it up a little. This guy's gonna try to bring you away, but it was good to meet you, man. Yeah.
There's Roy right there.
Man. You have a great time.
You can hear DOA, Defender of Ants, yelling in the background. Thought that was interesting. And this is the thing, especially the newer Scientologists who've not done a ton. And $5,000 in Scientology in 1 year is super cheap, guys. Super cheap compared to what it can be. There are Scientologists who spend hundreds of thousands of dollars Because what happens is you're not just paying for your services in Scientology for auditing, which is their counseling, or for courses. You're paying to donate to their front groups, the International Association of Scientologists, the Volunteer Ministers Program, the Foundation for a Drug-Free World. They're pressured very heavily to donate to those as well. So this guy got off light if he's $5,000 in, and he sounds like he had done the purification rundown, which is the sauna program where you get in the sauna for 5 hours a day and take dangerous levels of niacin. Little side story there. I have had this thought. So my mom was diagnosed in her 30s with having some kidney issues, and she had done the purification rundown. And it was being questioned at one point that those high levels of niacin, could that have contributed to the damage she had with her kidneys? And I've heard other reports too, where people have shared, just physical side effects from that. And doctors have come out and said it's actually not good for your body and can be dangerous to take those levels of niacin. I am not a doctor. I just use Google WebMD, but I have heard this. So it's interesting that they're still putting people on this, and you spend 5 hours a day in a sauna. And anything you see about a sauna is like you should be in there for 10 minutes, 15 minutes at a time. You can take breaks, but you're back in for a total that you have to get in of, I believe it's 5 hours a day. So someone caught, and I have a link for this down below, Patrick Perry over by the Hollywood Testing Center. He is the man who has had his dog bite multiple protesters. He is the man who assaulted Aaron from growing up in Scientology. And he now has some new gear. Let's take a look at this.
Got his body camera on. That's the guy that attacked Aaron.
I think he just pauses the video for a sec. So you can see he's got a body cam now.
Here's a body camera on now.
He's just carrying the cane. He does not need it right now. So he has got a body cam now. I thought that was interesting. I'm just very curious as to what he captures on that. We have not really seen him in a little while. We haven't seen him in a hot minute. So it is interesting to see him there, and now, with a body cam. The thing about the cane and carrying the cane, I have mixed feelings about that, because as someone who has struggled in the past where I was having issues, sometimes I would need a cane and sometimes I wouldn't. And it could even be in the same day. So I'm not saying that, he absolutely doesn't need the cane. I just mean he just happened to be carrying it at that moment. And it could be BS as well. It could be either. I don't know what it is. But I know that can happen too. Sometimes, depending on what's going on, if you need a cane, doesn't mean you always need it. But sometimes you do, especially if you have something going on and you need to walk further distances. So don't know about that. Now, yesterday. Well, it was rough. If you caught the stream yesterday, it was a lot of emotion. It was a lot of heavy stuff. We were talking about Miriam Francis. And when I leave the stream in the morning, I immediately get in my car and I head to my office. And I bawled my eyes out all the way to the office. And then for a while I was there. And I had a great day at work, and I really did have a great day, but it was rough emotionally. I needed to take a bit of a step back. So yesterday I was maybe going to do a live, and I decided not to, because I needed a break and to step back. I didn't get a lot of sleep the night before, and I got to take care of myself, which I'm learning to do and trying to do. And I saw something that was so perfect. It was just what I needed to see. And if you did not see this, when we're done here on this video, I highly recommend you you head over to either DOA, Defender of Ants, or Lara FM's channel. These two You too. You need to keep getting together. You need to keep doing live streams together. It was one of the funniest things I think I have seen so far in all of this. And I'm just showing you a little bit of it. There was so much in there. I couldn't even decide like where to jump in and talk about it. I think it's towards the end when she takes out Goldenrod Rodney, and those who know, you know. Otherwise, you will see when you watch this video. I almost died. I laughed so hard. My Tony and I were just losing it, cracking up. These two are fabulous together, and the way that DOA is learning about Scientology and the abuses, and Lara is sharing those things, but she's also, well, right, learning and loving. That's like her whole theme, her song. She's learning as well about things that he's teaching her about the world outside of Scientology, about protesting, about politics, about all kinds of things. And I just love this so much, so much. Please, you too. If either one of you are in the chat or you guys get into their chat, you tell them they need to keep doing this once in a while at least, because I need it. I need this. Let's pop in.
Charges money to learn about it and then tries to prosecute you if you leave Scientology. So a religion that's given the status of a religion that's not a religion. Yeah.
Did you actually were there actual like religious ceremonies? Was there any type of like
no, just
routine,
copied
like
copied from outside world religion things, like, but graduations, I guess they would have Sea Org Day every year. There's a Sea Org Day ceremony where you get your ranking and your next all the fake ranks and all that, all your fake uniform, awards and all that. So it's all really made up. It's all garbage. So there's no real ceremony for anything because it's all garbage. You're not achieving shit. Do we know where the cult of Scientology invests? Do we know where Scientology invests or who invests in Church of Scientology shell companies like Narconon? Has anyone tried to protest these companies? We need to find out who they are, and then we expose them. And then anybody in the areas of those places know, then they go, oh, these are all the branches or the connections of Scientology. And then the people living in those areas can go protest them. And super easy. We make this a normal thing for all.
It was, I mean, right there, they're talking about a few things, and it's not even the funniest, but oh my gosh.
And for like 20 minutes, there was nobody there. It was like, and I was pretty far away, but yeah, but at least they know that I was there. Like just showing up has a lot of effect. Get that kitty.
Look at my pussy. Everybody just looked at the chat. She said, look at my.
It just their chemistry and the way they play off of each other, it's just fabulous. I loved it so bad. and I just hope they keep doing it. Definitely you want to watch the whole thing, because it just, throughout the whole thing, it has a great pace, and it's very it's just funny. It's really what I needed yesterday. It was the perfect thing. I was actually thinking, you know what, I need to just chill. Maybe, should I read a book? And I'm like, oh, that seems too hard. Even at this point, I'm like, I just need to see something funny. And so I was going to watch a comedy or something. And my Tony was like, you got to see Lara and DOA together. They just went on live and we watched it. And oh my gosh, it was fabulous. It was fabulous. I loved it so much. All right, I will stop gushing about that. And let's see. What are we moving on to? What's next? What have we got next? Yes. Aaron over at Growing Up in Scientology, he did a video where he shares how the Squirrel Squad is beating Scientology at their dirty tricks. So let's pop over there and see what Aaron had to say. I just love this.
These three members of the Squirrel Squad have just defeated Scientology in Scientology's latest effort to get their channels permanently taken down. What Scientology realized, okay, for the last few months, Scientology has used this tactic of trying to blast copyrighted music outside of their locations and in the vicinity of where the members of the Squirrel Squad are live streaming. And all that does is make monetization on YouTube slightly more complicated. And Scientology thought that if they blasted copyrighted music on these things, it would make monetization of videos impossible. And since Scientology will tell you that's the only reason any of these people are out there doing the protesting anyway, they would all quickly go away. Well, that's not how copyright works on YouTube. If there's music in your video, YouTube gives you 4 options on how to go about resolving that. And none of those options involve having your channel taken down. Scientology then realized, oh, what if we played our own copyrighted music instead of playing other people's copyrighted music? If we play our own copyrighted music, we can then demand that YouTube issue copyright violations against these channels. And if a channel accumulates 3 copyright violations in a 90-day period, YouTube automatically deletes the channels. So here's how it works, though. Fair use is always a defense, as long as it's an accurate, honest, and well-explained defense. Fair use is a defense for having copyrighted material in your videos. And the way it works on YouTube is if you are a copyright owner and you issue an actual copyright strike, a takedown notice on a video, YouTube's policy is once they determine that the complaint is real, not valid, but real. The complaint is real, comes from a real person, they instantly take the video down. You as the creator then have an opportunity to submit a counter notification. Now, this is an escalation. This is the beginning of a legal process, so it's not to be done lightly. But you submit a counter notification explaining why the original takedown request was in fact not valid. YouTube does not automatically accept your counter notification. They have to review it and go, this is a legitimate argument. Not necessarily picking sides of who's going to win, but this is not just BS. It's not just, I'm submitting a counter notification because I disagree. Like, you actually have to give the explanation. Once YouTube accepts your counter notification, they forward it to the complaining party. And they give the complaining party 10 days to either prove to YouTube that they are pursuing legal action against you in the real world, not just the YouTube world, the real world. In other words, you have to prove to YouTube that you are suing to defend your copyright, or else YouTube is like, sorry, thanks for coming, bye-bye, and they automatically reinstore the video. So all I wanted to share with you guys.
Isn't that great? It's just backfiring as per usual, because we know that when Scientology gets together each morning, in my mind, David Miscavige and other people sit down and discuss, how can we show up as culty as possible today? What can we do to battle this squirrel squad? I know. Let's play one song that will piss off our neighbors, drive our own parishioners crazy, and annoy the heck out of Sea Organization members who cannot go anywhere, but have to listen to this song played loudly over and over and over and over again. That's the flag song. And I'll be honest, that thing was stuck in my head for a couple of days. I even tried the thing where you have to finish the song to see if it's done. And once in a while it would pop in. And I think it's because I just heard it so many times on different streams. Jessica PALMADESSA was playing music last night, non-copyrighted music that was safe to play to drown out that song. That's why you'll hear music in her live there. But oi, the neighbors, I heard that neighbors at the Celebrity Center too had complained about the song being played so loud. I think it was there. Could have been the Blue Building. They're doing it in a few places. But it just speaks to, again, like this is your solution. Play loudly a song that makes no sense to anybody who's not in Scientology, including the neighbors. And imagine working in that building and because they make it so loud sometimes, there's no way they can't hear it, that they try to, that's your solution. Not address the fact of these accusations of what's being said about being a cult, about human rights abuses, about covering up SA, addressing these things. No, they don't. Because what does Scientology do? Because L. Ron Hubbard says, never defend, always attack. And that is what they do. But the way that they're doing it is just, let's be honest though, I'm here for all of it. I think we all are. The drama is pretty crazy and entertaining. It's ridiculous though, that this is the solution rather than addressing the issues, addressing the concerns. What about their parishioners that might be watching this on the internet that are under the radar Scientologists, which are people who have thoughts, want to leave, are curious about leaving, but will kind of play it straight with Scientology because they don't want to lose their family connections and all that. It's just reinforcing for them the doubts that they might already have that they're in a cult because of the way Scientology chooses to show up and believe, or show up and act. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And these protest people, they are expanding. We've got stuff happening. We're going to go take a look at something that happened in Chicago. And I've got a link to his channel down below with the video. And he's outside Chicago, the organization there, and has a conversation with a Scientologist.
Are you a part of Scientology at all? Yes. You are? Like, do you have any kids who are in Scientology? Like, no, you don't? No. You just got into it on your own?
Well, I come from D.C.
Oh.
So I just got here to this org.
Okay. So, did you originally join in D.C. then? Yeah. Okay. And did they, like, send you out here? No. You, okay.
When they start a new org, they're going to start opening a new org.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, that's over the clock. So
okay.
That's where we're here. That's why I'm here.
I see.
Put that together. I was a staff in D.C. for about 3 years.
Okay. Was the org in D.C. that you were at a pretty big org?
Yeah, there's a separate story like the one big.
Oh, okay. Okay, I get you.
When the call is there, I guess that's what you call it. People just come to help to establish.
Okay, so they just put out like a call and people just
check on people that's in the cities to see who's available to come help.
Okay, yeah.
And you have a lot of people. You have a few people up in the class right here from Russia.
Oh, Russia! So, wow.
Yeah, they come from everywhere to help.
That's crazy. That's crazy. This is a good organization.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, if they're coming that far to help, I guess.
It must be something. Mm-hmm.
But they're not sitting and waiting for people in Chicago to join staff.
Yeah, I get you. They're just gonna look wherever they yeah.
Sit here for years until they get more people involved.
I get you. Yeah, that makes sense. So have you been to that? Have you been to that new org yet? Have you been to that new building? Okay. Thank you for talking with me, sir.
Whisked away. And I thought it was interesting that he shared that there are people there from Russia who are helping. So, you know, they're trying to become this ideal organization, this big and thriving organization. And like what's happening in Austin, where they're about to open their new building, and they're bringing people from all over the place because there aren't enough Scientologists in many of these cities to staff the organization and keep it going. And it's interesting. They'll bring people in from all over. Now, I do wonder, though, sometimes I wonder about when they're bringing people over to work on these organizations who are coming from other countries. We have heard for decades, multiple reports of Scientology holding on to people's passports so that they can't leave, which in Scientology, if you leave without authorization, that's called a blow. You're blowing. And we've heard over and over again, literally Serge talks about it too, where they held his passport and he wasn't allowed to leave. And they do this often with people who come over from other countries. And so right away, I'm concerned. I'm like, are their passports being held? Are they going to be allowed to leave? Are they brought over? Are they being paid? Because Scientology will hide behind this whole, they're religious workers. They're religious workers. They're religious volunteers. Forget that you sign a 2.5 year or 5 year contract. And then if you leave prior to that, you're given a bill for the training you did to do your job. And if you're in the C organization and you don't make it the billion years you're supposed to be, same thing. You get a bill handed to you and a program, what you need to do to get back into the good graces of Scientology. It's really crazy. And I thought that was interesting too. Like, okay, so in Chicago, this isn't just something we're seeing in Florida around the Flag Land Base there, or around Los Angeles as well. In around the Blue Building, some of the interviews have been with people, and you learn they're from, outside the country. So it's been a thought. It's been a thought. Okay, now we're going to jump over to one of my favorite people. And if you guys are not following her, you're missing out so bad. So bad. Pearl Snappy, our girl in Austin, she is making it happen. The other day, she shut them down in, I think it was 3 minutes or 3.5 minutes. It was crazy. She does a very fun live stream because not only is she protesting Scientology, but she has a lot of dialogue and she shares a lot of things, including educating people, even who come up to her. And I love that, about what is happening in Scientology. And she's also keeping us up to date on the permit that was filed with the city of Austin to shut down streets for the grand opening of the Scientology building in Austin, which is supposed to happen on February 24th. If they don't make this happen on February 24th, they're not going to be able to till well into April, because of events happening in Austin coming up in March. Also in March is L. Ron Hubbard's birthday. So Scientology really needs this footage of this organization opening to share as part of their propaganda videos that they make for Scientologists. A lot of what they do is to just keep the Scientologists that they have there. And it's not necessarily for the public in general, but it's propaganda to keep the Scientologists that they have, to keep the large donors that they have, so they keep donating, so they keep that money stream going. Scientology always trying to get that dollar. Okay, here's Pearl Snappy doing what she does best.
Bye. Come out with your cans up, Scientology! Come out with your cans up! We see your crimes! We know about your crimes, Scientology! Come out with your cans up!
That was just a snippet, but Pearl Snappy, she's here on YouTube. You got to subscribe and follow her. And if you're in the Austin area, or if you want to head out there February 24th, connect with her. You can find her on her channel. It sounds like DOA is planning a trip down to Austin. I heard him say in the stream that he was going to do that. Love to see that. I would love it if Lara went as well. My dream, I'm going to put it out there, is that DOA and Lara do a road trip and we get to watch the whole thing. They could have, those two, I think, could just have a whole show just on their own, just watching those two. So I really hope that they do it. I really do. I really do. It sounds like DOA is definitely going to go. But you definitely want to follow Pearl Snappy. Okay, let's talk about Clearwater. We haven't talked about Clearwater in a hot minute. Clearwater, Lori Plays, surrounded by Scientology. Clearwater George was there. And Fridays in Scientology, it's a hot night because it's graduation for Scientologists. And Lori got there right at the right moment before everybody scattered to catch them arriving, I believe, for graduation. And they catch some buses. So let's jump in and see what Lori Plays caught last night.
Do some skateboarding.
I'm not going to show the kids.
All right, more coming in now. They're all here.
Graduation night. What's a graduate? Da 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 ba 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 ba. Happy course graduation. Happy course graduation. Happy course graduation. Happy course graduation.
Lori shares in her video earlier when it first starts that she had a conversation with a Sea Org member and just exchanging pleasantries. And then Lori went on to go check out Lisa McPherson's memorial brick to make sure that it has not been vandalized. and it looked like it was fine. So I'm glad that people are checking on that to, make sure, because Aaron, from growing up in Scientology, if you didn't catch it, went over there, what was it, a week or so ago, and cleaned it up and painted the letters, just restored it more so you could see it. And that was so sweet. So it's neat that people are going and checking in on that. I love it when people who are protesting Scientology and live streaming are having a good time at the same time, because you have to have that balance, because we all know it's what we talk about has a lot of ick factor sometimes, and bringing that balance to it. I know I find that helpful. I know I need that. Mary Smith, is that how they groom the children in Scientology with stuffed toys? I personally was revolted. With stuffed toys. I'm not totally getting that, but I never saw kids being given stuffed toys in Scientology, like from Scientology themselves, but I might not know exactly what you're referencing. So maybe give a little more info there, and I might be able to fill in the blanks. Oh, follow up to that question. If they are raised by narcissists and abusers, do they not know it's disturbing because it's normalized? Yes, I would say exactly that. That's part of the issue is I can speak from someone who grew up in Scientology that, and I wasn't raised by narcissists or abusers. My mom got into Scientology. She married a Scientologist. Were there times when she was neglectful as a parent? Yes, because of Scientology. Because in Scientology, you're told that, children are just big beings in little bodies. And so you're not seen as a child. The expectations for you of more, that you should be more like an adult. And that's just not okay. That's not okay, because it's not true. And what ends up happening is it puts children in positions of being more susceptible to being abused. It normalizes them. Their training routine drills where they do this with children from childhood all the way up through adulthood, where you sit across from each other and you're supposed to try and find a button that you can push that causes a reaction, and you push it over and over and over again until you don't get a reaction. And often these are sexual. Myself, I was doing a training program when I was 16 years old in Los Angeles, right there at the Blue Buildings. I went there from Hawaii, where I was born and raised, to train to be a staff member for Scientology in Hawaii. And as part of my training, we had to do these training routines. And a lot of what's done when you're the student, you work with a coach, and that's the person who's trying to push your buttons and find them. It's called bull baiting in Scientology. And if you react, you twitch, you move, you laugh, you get mad, you cry, whatever it is, you're told flunk, start, and they do it again. And they will push that same button over and over again on you till you no longer react to it, regardless of your age. They can say anything to you. They just can't touch you when you're doing these drills. So through these drills, it begins to normalize. As a child, adults do these drills too. But as a child, it normalizes adults saying these things to you. And the training is to train you, because in my case, I was training to be what's called an ethics officer, but a really trained one. I think they were called magistrates then. They might still be now. I don't know. But that was what I was being trained to do in Scientology. So as part of my training at 15, 16 years old, I had to part of my job was going to be dealing with the ethics of adults, right? Of all Scientologists in my area. So in Los Angeles, as part of my training, I had to do ethics interviews and work with adult Scientologists. I had to handle male Scientologists on masturbating, which they were not allowed to do while they were doing Scientology auditing. And here I am. I was still a virgin. I hadn't even had sex. I didn't. And I'm having to handle a grown male more than one time off of a report that I would get saying that, it says here that you've been masturbating outside of your Scientology training and auditing, and that's not okay. And then work out a program or a handling to get him to stop doing that. Completely inappropriate. Did I think it was inappropriate at the time? No, because that's what I was trained to do. And it was normalized in me from a young age that I'm an adult. I'm a big being in just a smaller body. So I should be able to do this because that's the expectation. That's what's expected of me. Complete and utter BS. And that is part of the behavior that normalizes treating a child like that and normalizes it within you as the child, that I still need to have these conversations, even if it's about this sexual matters, sexual things. Scientology auditors, like literally Serge, when he was trained as a child to audit adults, would have to listen to instances of pedos, of just disgusting things. And it all starts with those earlier training routines in Scientology. Let's grab another question. Squirrel SPTV, do you have a pic clip of Joey? I haven't seen him on the live streams that I caught. I don't. If somebody else does, maybe you can let us know. You can I don't know if anyone can stream, or you can at least say where it is. So maybe say where it is, because I would like to see that too, because I actually don't know. Christina Lynn, who was the Vanderpump Rules star? Somebody put her name. It was Jolene something, wasn't it? Was it Jolene? Jolene or Jolene? Jolene? Somebody will put it in the chat or in the comments. Corsets and curls. Did you discuss the document leak from Serge? I think I haven't had time yet today to look much into it. Did I see that? I'm not totally sure, but I will check it out and then we can talk about it. Old Fleabag, thank you so much for the super chat. Congratulations. I just noticed you hit 10,000. Okay, my Tony, when can we expect you? Tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Time in our time zone. My Tony's going to join for his debut on Scientology Life After a Cult. And I am really looking forward to that. I hope that you guys are too. Erica, what do members think about not being able to talk about it? If Scientology is so great, wouldn't they want to get the word out and push recruitment? How do they reconcile being shut up about it? Okay, so you can talk about Scientology in the terms of, I love Scientology. I've been in Scientology for X amount of years. You cannot explain what Scientology is. That's why when I say first rule in Scientology, y'all know it. Let's hear it. Don't talk about Scientology. L. Ron Hubbard said, don't explain Scientology. Have them read a book. Sell them a book. Trust me, too. They're selling you a book. They ain't giving you a book. And this is through how Scientologists are trained to respond to questions about Scientology. Read a book. You should read a book and find out for yourselves. Do a course. Buy a course. Most, I would say, other religions that I'm aware of, if I walk up to somebody and said, hey, can you tell me about Buddhism? What is it? They will tell me and explain what it is, but not in Scientology. And they reconcile that with everything else that they do or have to believe, which is a bit odd, but because L. Ron Hubbard said so. It all comes down to that. The indoctrination in Scientology, as you move further and further into it, you become more and more, you have that mind control because you believe, well, whatever L. Ron Hubbard says, I have to do. That's pretty much it and why. Liz Ferris, thank you so much for the super chat. You're doing amazing. You rock. Thank you. You rock. I love that you're getting out there and keep talking, keep sharing. And we're all here, you know this, to support you. I know it's been rough lately. And I want to know more about these Pokemon cards because it's funny because I got into it too as an adult, but I sold mine a long time ago. Now I wish like I would have kept them, but I really got into that too. So I think it's interesting that you have as well. I think it's not uncommon for people raised in Scientology, especially in the Sea organization, there's parts of your childhood, huge parts that you didn't really get to experience as a child. And I don't think that's limited to Scientology either. There's things that are fun to go back and like, hey, I remember as an adult, I wanted a Cabbage Patch doll because I never got to have one as a child, but I remember hearing about them. And so I love it. I love that you do the Pokemon. Christina, there seems to be a lot of Russian Scientologists. Maybe they just want out of Russia. Very much could be. And I've thought about that too. If you're offered the opportunity to come on a religious visa or something like that, would you take it? Because you'll notice we're seeing people from Russia, from Ukraine, from Colombia. Definitely has crossed my mind. CP text forwarding. Just made first contact with a lawyer about Scientology issue, and attorney did not immediately disclose conflict of interest. Law license, livelihood at risk. Very possibly, and I think someone popped into the comments too that maybe it was I don't know what you call it. Was it like phone spoofing or something? You know who would know? Pearl Snappy would know. She would know how you make that happen. Erica and Natalie's going to get like 50 Cabbage Patch dolls now. I never bought it because it just, I don't know. In my head, I thought like, well, it just seems like a waste. But it wasn't. I should have, because it was just part of that thing in my childhood that I thought would be fun as an adult. That was funny. Pigs is pigs. You're right, Natalie. We all want to hold on to a part of our childhood in some way, and for ex-Scientology, maybe have that. Maybe have what you never had. Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth in that. And Nancy Drew is saying apps can do that easily with the caller ID. I don't know why a lawyer that they contacted would want to do that, though. I don't know. Laura, I always wanted a glowworm. Still want one. See, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things like that. Farrell Cheryl, is she here in the chat? Farrell Cheryl's is out in Clearwater live streaming. Make sure you subscribe to her channel as well, especially if you want to see what is happening in Clearwater, which I love that they're capturing all of that. Sparkling Dragon, my Tony, can't wait to see you next, Natalie. Hope you're having a beautiful morning. I cannot wait either. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. And so what I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm still going to do my recap in the morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. And then later on at noon, we're going to do the live stream at Tony, because I thought it would be fun to just stick to that so that we can all have our fun moment with my Tony. It's going to be so much fun. Scooby-Doo, this is a great comment. It takes an Aussie to take down an Aussie like Rinder. Miriam is so brave and strong to even ask the questions. I agree with that completely. And that wasn't lost on me either, that she's Australian and Mike Rinder's Australian. And she's asking the questions that need to be asked. Amy, where do you think Scientology would be today if there was streaming 20 years ago? I think it would be shut down by now. I think that there wouldn't be any more tax exempt status. I think, because who knows how long that we're going to have to do this with this medium, with streaming and getting the word out. And the beauty of this, my hope, because I came from the Scientology community because I grew up in Scientology, and I still hold a place in my heart and a hope and a desire that the people there who want to leave are able to leave. There are many people in Scientology who have to still maintain the facade of supporting Scientology because of their family connections, their business connections. It could be some tie financially. I've seen that over and over again. What's happening with live streaming and so many more creators sharing all about this is it's spreading the word. It's raising awareness that Scientology is a cult, and that is going to stop people from getting into Scientology. So even though they hardly have anybody joining, they're dependent largely on second and third generation Scientologists and even upcoming fourth generation Scientologists. Fourth generation in my family, my grandkids, they are the first ones to never have been in Scientology. So my two grandkids, who are 6 and 2, are never ins. It's not something that they're going to grow up around. There will be no introduction to it other than when they become of an age where it's appropriate. They can go back and watch all grandma's videos about Scientology. And I'm very proud of that. It took the fourth generation in my family to have these never ends. And the more people who are finding out and sharing about the abuses in Scientology to the public in general, then people will not get in Scientology to begin with. And eventually they're just going to be gone. They're going to become extinct because the second, third generation, especially the third generation Scientologists, they're going to have a lot harder time with because they're growing up with technology. It would be very strange for them to not be connected to people on the internet. So Scientologists let me put it this way. There was a time where, right, there were children in the Sea organization that were growing up as kids. Then at a certain point, rule came out, you can't have kids in the Sea organization. Now, you can be a Sea Org member as a child, but you can't like join the Sea Org with a 5-year-old. There's no facilities to take care of the child. And they should never have had children there in the first place. You can be a child of 12, 13, 14 if you and do the Sea organization boot camp and join the Sea organization still. They still allow that. And you'll be on your own without a parent. So what's going to happen though is these kids, a lot of them are growing up, even if their parents are Scientologists, they're out there going to school. They have social media, they have phones, and these messages getting out on TikTok, YouTube, getting out to where they are, they will be exposed to this and will have easier access to it. They also were growing up thinking differently, even if their parents are hardcore Scientologists. When I was growing up, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have access to information in this way. I had to go to the library and use encyclopedias if I needed to find out information or do a report for school. Whereas even these kids growing up in Scientology, they have this access. So we're able to cut off new people getting into Scientology in many ways, because look at what we're seeing. What do we see in these videos when Scientologists are getting on a bus to go anywhere? They are much older. A lot of them are older. They're older than I am, and I'm 53. And I think that that says a lot about who is left in Scientology. So if we can prevent young people from ever getting into Scientology in the first place, then you cut it off. You stop it right there. All right, I answered that one. Let's see where we are at. All right. Links down below for all of this. Oh my gosh, there's so many people to follow. And please continue. I appreciate when you email me at natalie@tonkatalk.com and share what you see. Because if you see something, say something. If you share videos, if you can make a note of the timestamp on the video that what I'm looking for, I can get through it quicker. And don't assume that I've already seen it. And, you know, what I like to share too are the things that have you guys talking. So if I'm seeing something from multiple people, it tells me too that this is something that people is definitely grabbing your attention. So by all means, go ahead and share those anyways. Let me know what I'm looking at. Let me know your thoughts. Samantha, not a question. I just wanted to say I love your attitude and what you're doing. Thank you so much. I got to run, but just needed to say you're all my heroes. Keep screaming. You matter. Thank you so much. The support from all of you, whether you've been in Scientology or not, you've never been in Scientology, that is what's changing the tide here. What with Scientology, there is just too many. There is just too many of us. So each person, me for example, have like, hey, I have all these people behind me and with me, backing me up, and who are going to be there to hear all of it and to share it as well. So it's in, and I'm here. I don't do anything halfway, except for when I was in the Sea organization. I was just trying to phone it in, and that's why I entered in a very low level organization there, because I thought, well, I'm going to do my job the best that I can do, but if I can get a low level job, not much will be expected of me, and I could stay out of trouble. Laura Estrada, thank you so much for the super chat. I am a behavioral therapist and think of all the kids with undiagnosed disabilities. I want to help. How? No one talks about it. Wow. If you have not emailed me already, please do, Natalie@tonkatalk.com. That is a really good point. It's the kids with undiagnosed disabilities. The number of people with undiagnosed mental illness in Scientology and in the organization is very real. I remember when I was there doing my training as a 15, 16-year-old. And I remember a woman, she was a course room supervisor. I think she was from France. I remember she was just beautiful. And I admired her. I admired her work. And she was a supervisor over one of the course rooms. And next thing you know, she's gone. And I had heard that she was under security watch, and they call it that she went type 3. That's a Scientology term for potential trouble source type 3, or as I like to call it, potential trouble source of the third kind. And what that means is that she had had a psychotic break. And I would see this, either see them having it or know and understand what was being done because they did. That's what happened with Lisa McPherson. And look what happened to her. She died after being held for 14, 15, 16, 17 days, whatever it was, in the Fort Harrison by Scientologists when she could have been in the hospital getting help, but they got her out of there. She went to the hospital, they got her out of there because of psychiatry, and then she ended up dead. The numbers of people who unalive themselves, or at least who try just to get out of the Sea organization because they feel so desperate that there's no other way and they're not getting help. It's very much a big thing. It's a real thing. And for me, it's what helps motivate me to continue to do this, because they're still there. There are still people like that. There are some, hey, I want to be here. No, I'm all like Team Sea Org and all that. Fine, do your thing. But I can tell you there are people in the Sea organization right now who want out, who feel trapped, who don't think that they can just walk away and leave. I mean, and at times you can't, because it will physically take you back and put you under what they call security watch, where somebody watches you 24/7 to make sure that you don't leave and you don't blow. So that's a big motivator. That's a big motivator for me. And those are part of many of the stories that, need to be shared. Unapologetic me. I'm neurodiverse, and that's what drives my passion, horror at what goes on. I couldn't live with autonomy. Feels like suffocating. Yes. So imagine, being neurodiverse and being in that situation where you can't change your environment to better suit you. Whatever the lights are, whatever the sounds are. They're being tortured right now with that flag song nonstop over and over again, failing to really make an impact on the Squirrel Squad, the people live streaming and protesting, but driving their neighbors and their own people crazy as well. I don't doubt that at all. We're seeing it happen. So here's what we're going to do. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time, I'm going to be back on doing a recap like usual. Then we're going to have my Tony on at 12 p.m. Central Time, and that is going to be a ton of fun. Hopefully you can be there in the live. If not, catch it on the replay. Make sure you check your subscribe button on your way out. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. I really appreciate it. Appreciate all of you. And I look forward to chatting with you again soon. And in the meantime, get out there and have the most amazing cult-free day.